Simon O'Connor.
Excuse me.
Yes, you're not going out over the networks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to the World Wide Web listening in. I'm now online. Mr. Speaker, I think the Maori Party will be pleased, and this House should be too, because with partnership schools, we have heard in select committee meeting after select committee meeting whānau, a family from Pacifica communities, Maori communities saying, we want this. Now that puts the left in a terrible, terrible bind, and to someone like myself it's quite funny to watch, but they have said, person after person, whānau after whānau, they want this opportunity. And I think that's really important to hear. But, Mr. Speaker, one of the things about education is the importance of having a broad education. So I actually want to turn the attention to the tertiary sector. Back to the tertiary sector, and I noted the listener recently picked up on a number of us, including the Minister, who were at the O-Weeks, and the National Party certainly out in force in the O-Weeks, supporting our young people who have been signing up, hundreds of people committed to that brighter future which National is interested in. But one of the things that I found as someone who goes through the tertiary sector quite frequently, and not just in O-Weeks, is the optimism we have in our young people. And arguably some of that can be and brought to account by the successes that this national government has had. And so I want to pick up and continue, broaden, if you will, what the Minister was outlining earlier around successes in education, to talk about the successes in the tertiary sector. Mr. Speaker, between 2008 and 2011, course completion rates in New Zealand have increased from 76 to 82%, and qualification completion rates from 64 to 71%. These are undeniable facts and realities. This has been the commitment of the national government from 2008, and we have seen an increase in completion rates. We've seen an increase in in qualification rates. Measurable success in the tertiary sector. Mr. Speaker, we've seen with student loan repayments, these have increased by 11%. The initiatives that this government has put in are breeding success. Tangible, measurable success. The scientific method, if you will, you can test it, you can show it, you can prove it, and that's what the National Party is doing. We've seen actually the cost to the New Zealand taxpayer, to the Crown, has come down. It used to be 47 cents before this government took power for every dollar lent. That was the cost of the student loan scheme. Now it's down to 39 cents. Tangible, real, visible facts around what this government has achieved. And we know now too, 1,000 more engineering places, Mr. Chair, in our universities and institutes of technology in 2013. And we are on track to make sure we're producing an extra 500, that's 500 engineering graduates by 2017. And this is incredibly important. I had the great privilege last week of going out to an amazing New Zealand company called Altitude Interiors, leading the way in interior design, an excellent company. Hey, I can turn right around with this. This is great. Doing amazing work with aircraft engineering designs, and they are crying out for further engineering graduates from this country, and they want them. They know that graduates from the likes of the University of Auckland are fantastic graduates, as they are from other institutions throughout New Zealand. So this government heard that cry and is putting money where its mouth is. And Mr. Speaker, if we turn then to, because I've had a lot of, again, I've mentioned in this House before, friends and others in my electorate talking around student allowances and so forth, around the changes there. Mr. Chair, we have seen the spending on student allowance, because context is important. Any discussion like this, we can pick up on absolute particulars and exceptions and try to argue from it, but the context is important. Our expenditure has increased significantly. In 2007 and 2008, the Crown spent about $385 million in student allowances. In the last year, that's $620 million. Mr. Speaker, whether we like it or not, this is simply not sustainable. So this government has worked to promote an allowance system which focuses on giving that opportunity to those in low-income families in early years of study, and I think rightly these are things we can be proud of.
Members, the question is that the report of the Education and Science Committee on the 2011-12 financial review of the Ministry of Education be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I understand the next financial review members wish to debate is the financial review of the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs. Will members please turn to the Government Administration Committee's report. The question is that the report of the Government Administration Committee on the 2011-12 financial review of the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs be noted. Called Alfred Naro.
Mr. Chair,